Today in Filament's Folly, we're going to paint a model of Bernie Sanders that I found. Okay, so here's the parts for Bernie Sanders. They're printed at 0.12 with a fill from about 7 to about 40% for the chair. Most of them are pretty light. I'm spraying here a filler and primer. You can get this at AutoZone or Napa or Amazon. And then here I'm just using simple black gloss spray paint for the chair. Most of my paints that I have here that you see me painting are custom mixes. You can use any acrylic paints for this. I have airbrush paints here, but you can literally buy the basic paints from Michael's. If I'm going to be using an airbrush, I have a flow stuff that I put in there, but water works for that too. So I'm just going to go ahead and put like the biggest color here in first, a couple coats of it. I was really happy I got that color of human skin on the first one, or Caucasian skin. Okay, for the hair, I went ahead and added like 1% yellow and then a couple percent black, just to give it a little bit of gray with a little bit of tinge to it so it didn't just look so stark. And then I added a lot more gray or black, and then I put it into the lines of the head, and that'll go ahead and just kind of give the hair a little bit of definition. Now, I'd started out hand painting this, and it looked like hot garbage. It just, maybe I didn't have my mix right or something, but it just looked like hot garbage, and I wasn't happy, so I airbrushed it instead, which took like 10% of the time. This is not an expensive airbrush. I think this is a Badger. I got it for like 80 bucks. You can get really cheap airbrushes that do pretty good jobs for this kind of stuff. So back to working on the eyes. I painted the glasses with some silver, and then I'm going to put this stuff called Masket on the skin around the eyes, since we don't want to get paint on that while we're painting the eyes. That's that pink gooey looking stuff, and it's literally like a type of rubber that smells heavily of fish. And that way, if I get a little bit of paint onto the face, the white, into like the cheeks, I can just rub it off. It's really nice. It will ruin your brush, so just have like a Masket brush for this. Now for the eyes, I'm going to start with the brown, just kind of put the circle in and then put the pupil in after that. And then you can just rub the Masket off after it's all done. So while the paint's dry, I'm going to go ahead and paint the gloves, and we're just going to hand paint those. I could have masked out the gray and done that there, but I just chose not to. I'm going to go ahead and put one layer on, hit it with a hair dryer here, and then put a second layer on. You got to be really careful. The airbrush paint is very thin, so even though it looks real solid, it will scratch easy, just as an FYI. Alright, so I masked up the bottom of the legs and I airbrushed the shoes, and now I'm just kind of putting in the detail of the laces and the soles. You may want to put 2 layers of Masket on stuff. I noticed in some areas I think I've got it covered, but I don't, and there's a little spots of one color that shouldn't be there. This is my first time actually using it, but I'm really loving it. And I probably should have sanded the bottom of the feet here a little more. It would have made painting this part easier. But I didn't think anybody's really going to look at the bottom of the feet, but then I recorded it, so there's the bottom of the feet. Alright, so I got my good camera angle here. I started out with like a number 6 doing these lines, but I was afraid I wasn't getting enough paint. So eventually I switched over to a flat brush, and I don't think that was really the right move. At first it seemed like it was, but then it wasn't. So I ended up switching. Here I am at the flat brush, and it just doesn't quite work as well. I didn't get the control that I wanted. So I went back to the number 6 after this. And I'm getting better with these cameras. I told you I would. See my well-organized paint area here. It's always important to keep your paints very well organized and your area completely immaculately clean. Do as I say, not as I do. Well, I really enjoyed painting this. It's a great model. I didn't design this one. There's a link below if you want to go ahead and buy a copy. I just thought this was just too cool not to go ahead and paint and share. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Subscribe if you're not. Hit a thumbs up if you liked the video. And I'll see you next time on Filament's Folly.